Sounds good.
For whatever reason, today has been that way. I feel like I'm on the
I
old,
love it. I think that's great.
The old countdown show where Keith Olbermann would talk to Rachel Maddow before he let
you went all mid-2000s.
Keith Olbermann, baby. And then I could get into the whole thing about Donahue was protesting the Iraq War and then mysteriously got fired. But we won't get into any of that here.
Well, the
That's
Dixie
for
Chicks
the
did the
political
same thing.
show.
They got canceled. I mean,
But we have got a great guest who is going to join us here in just a few seconds. She is amazing, Ms. Juicy, which I love. The whole Ms. Juicy thing. I love the way that she is. I love the way she spells her freaking name. I love the fact that she is on Twitter. She's on the Twitter machine at MZJEWCEEONE. Ms. Juicy one.
I love that.
Amazing. So, Ms. Juicy, I think you're muted, by the way. You might want to unmute yourself. I'm
muted.
There we are. We definitely don't want you muted. Holy smokes. No. You are my kind of perv magnet, as Ross Long would say. So, Ms. Juicy, tell me and Giovanni here a little bit about yourself, and I'm sure Giovanni will have a couple questions for you before he goes.
Oh, certainly. Can you guys hear me?
We've got you. You're perfect.
Okay.
You're
I apologize.
You're ready to go.
I'm exhausted. First of all, I just drove back from Indianapolis, Indiana, having a great weekend. So just bear with me with the voice and the
Oh, you're good.
Everything. But my name is Ms. Juicy. I hail out of Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm a dog. So I'm multitasking right now with you guys because, football girl right here, football girl. So
I totally understand. That's why Jiggy doesn't have me on Saturdays, because I'm a college football fanatic, and he knows it's almost impossible.
So first, thank you so much for having me.
Yes.
I am on the erotic side of the house. I am also a health education major. Sex ed was my field of study in college. And I am a sexuality coach, erotic advisor. And also I do a lot of events. And I sell adult toys, novelties, and lingerie. So I kind of do anything that I can do on the erotic side of the house, including I am also a paid dominatrix. So yes, I know I look sweet and innocent. So
I was about to say that fooled me. I don't know about Jiggy, but you said that, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. I did not anticipate that. I like the hot, very hot.
Yeah, I immediately the first thing that crossed my mind was, where's my wallet? But the thing is, as they say, so Ms. Juicy, I love that whole thing. How did you come up with that?
Yes.
So when I started out doing this many moon ago, I had a group. There's a group of us, and a lot of things start over alcohol. So,
and they continue too, apparently.
Yes, they do. But I wanted to be original. I wanted to be different, and I also wanted to pay homage to where I am from. So, I have actually been on my own in life since I was 17. And I lost my parents at a young age. But I had a great upbringing in a great neighborhood in a great city and state. So the way that I wanted to, as I got into erotic writing, and that's where it kind of started, I had the name Juicy. And I said, well, gosh, everybody spells it Juicy. Everybody does. And I said, I don't want to do that. I'm not everybody. So, and I'm not everybody's cup of tea either. So I decided to spell it differently. And I kept playing with it. And finally, I came up with Jew. I was actually raised in a Jewish neighborhood. Okay.
All right.
Okay, that's
I
interesting.
saw how people worked. I was around them all the time. I was in that community. And then CEE is easy. It's for Seatown, Cleveland, Ohio. So Ms. Juicy
Get
was
it?
number one.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, that's how I came up with the spelling.
That's awesome.
One.
That's
Yep.
awesome. So Giovanni, do you have a couple more questions before I let you go? Because
I have one for her because I'm kind of curious. As a sex educator,
Mhm.
so I don't want to keep you. I want you to talk more to Jiggy, but my question is, how do you feel like the social media and digital era that we're now in? What is the good and the bad in terms of the amount of information that people are able to get, and how does that impact, the sex education spectrum? People like yourself, folks that work in it, like what's maybe a couple of good things, a couple of bad things that you see as a result of, the proliferation of information in social media?
So that's a great question, and I think the things that I see that are great are, first of all, there's information out on social media. It's at your fingertips. Unlike when I was growing up, you couldn't find all of this information. You had to
Go to the
dig
naughty section of the library and sign like
right
10 forms. Yeah, I remember that.
in the dark with a flashlight. Trying to
Yeah, it was like in the attic of the library, like
spell the
dusty, and
dust.
it was like 19th century. I'm the man likes to get down, and I'm like, what? Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that it's great that there is so much information available. The downside of that is so much of the information is incorrect. So much of the information is very opinionated. And some of the information and a lot of the information is antiquated.
Yep.
So you have to kind of learn how to sift through it and navigate it in order to get to what I call, the truth.
Yep.
So I think that it's fabulous that you can get information, but sometimes you have to delve a little deeper into the information that you get. And sometimes, let's just be honest, we're not gonna do all that. We're just not. And so we take some things hook, line, and sinker as the gospel, just to find out that it really isn't. And then trying to change that person's thought process, sometimes it's very difficult.
I agree, and I'll leave it at this. Jiggy, what she said is so valuable to everybody to kind of take hold of the misinformation or the incorrect information that people can get a hold of, and they innocently think, "Oh, this is accurate." We were just talking about MGen testing earlier before you got on, Miss Juicy, and there have been like, "Whoa, this is brand new." No, it's not. CDC. There's a paper back in 1981 that first really kind of exposed what MGen was. And I was telling Jiggy, I was like, back then they were like, well, it's no big deal, right? And it's nothing to worry about. And there was there was another converse to that, which was scientists were like, well, if you start trying to put everybody on antibiotics for this, you're just going to make a superbug of it. And that's going to be even worse than what this is right now, which is actually treatable. And so they were kind of saying, don't test for it. And the reason why gynecologists didn't test for it, the reason why doctors and STI, STD specialists didn't test for it, was because they were worried about creating a superbug. That kind of, but that information never really gets to see the light of day. The original paper in 1981 doesn't really see the light of day. You got to go find it on the CDC website, and that leads to people going, well, this is brand new and nobody's tested. No, it's not brand new. We've had it. People have just not tested for it for a different reason. And so it's going to be, it's a hard road for all of us to navigate. And you're right, because the education comes out, like you get all this data, like, oh my God, it can do all these things. And then you read another paper that says, well, yes, it can do those things, but it's a small, tiny little sliver of the population that can happen to it. But then you have to remember, well, we're working porn, so we're more apt to catch this stuff. So it really is difficult for people, and I applaud Ms. Juicy, people like you that can help all of us sift through it, find accurate information, learn how to work with it, and be able to process this stuff. Because, it confuses me at times, when I hear that it's brand new, and I'm like, no, I remember reading about it in college. So it really is nice to have folks like you out there. So thank you for the work you do in that department. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And to piggyback off what you were saying, I would like to let me just give one example. a lot of people, especially as a woman, we talk about squirting. Squirting is wonderful, fabulous. Yay! Everybody loves it.
I know I do. I know.
That is awesome.
But oh, for those of you that are out there and you're wondering, no, squirting is not pee. If it were pee, it would be called pee. So, we have a few years back, I'm out doing shows, a lot of times when I do my adult toys and novelties, and I go in Tupperware with a flair. I go into people's homes.
Tupperware with a flair.
And I talk to people.
God.
Hey, that's
Oh, I see why Jiggy loves you. Yes. I see why he loves you. Okay.
Tupperware with a flair. Awesome.
So you go in and you're talking to these women, and because now a lot of times women don't know their bodies. And here you have this magnificent thing that you can do, but you're afraid to do it. You're ashamed to do it because people keep telling you it's pee, and it's not. And it's not. So this gentleman, I'm gonna use that term very loosely. Did a study over in France. This was recent too. It's maybe within the last 10 years. We'll say within the last 10 years. And he did this study. He tested 7 women. 7. And discovered that their squirting picked up some properties of urine, and decided to put back out in this study of 7 women that squirting was pee. And here we go again.
That's 7 people. 7. Let's think about that number, Miss Juicy. That's only 7. That's funny you said that. The negative effects of coffee. Here, you're going to love this. Anytime people talk about the negative effects of caffeine in coffee, and they talk, there's studies. You know what? The primary thing that people like to cite is a paper that was published by a guy without even a doctorate of medicine in New York in the late 1800s, and it was like 5 people, and talking, coffee's this horrible thing for you, and all this caffeine can do bad things. Yes, caffeine can elevate a heart rate. We all know that, but when people are talking about it, they're literally saying this barrage of word vomit that is honestly taking some dude without a doctor's degree working for the city of New York Public Health, just basically a bureaucrat, who picked 5 fucking people at random with no reason to pick them, and did a little bit of studies, paid him whatever, a couple bucks back then, and then said, coffee's bad. I mean, who knows? Maybe he was working for the tea lobby. I don't know. But either way, it was just like, people latch onto this stuff, and they latch onto the bad information. That's what scares me the most, and that's why I was talking about they need to bring these prices down, because all that's happening now is I'm seeing a lot of conspiracy theory stuff now on Reddit and everything, like MGen's made up. No, it's not. Okay, it's a real thing. But now what's happening is you get this anti-group of people that think it's a conspiracy by people just trying to run them out of the industry. And I think that's another problem. Without education, folks like yourself, it can run rampant without the right guidance. So thank you again for Jiggy. I'll let you have Miss Juicy all yourself.
Oh,
Miss
you're
Juicy,
good.
thank you for entertaining me.
You're good.
Thank you.
I love it.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. I gotta follow you.
I just followed you right now and love your stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, GILV was the follower. All right, hon. Thank you. You're in great hands with Jiggy. Jiggy, thank you for the time today.
Thank you, sir. I will be in touch, as always.
Right,
Giovanni Valentino with us today. Also, the fantastic Ms. Juicy, which I love. I love the whole the way you spell your name. I just think that is fantastic. So you have got. And I want to make sure I get this right, because this looks like it is going to be something. I believe the term is a humdinger. You had you were promoting an ebony erotic experience on your Twitter. What in the world is this? Explain this to me. Because I think I'm packing my bags and heading to East Lake, Ohio. So that's just the way it is.
So, oh my gosh, this event is, oh my word, it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love. And first of all, I want to preface what I'm about to say with the fact that I'm probably the last person ever in the world will be prejudiced, because I am not. Okay. The only thing that I'm prejudiced against is ignorance. And the Ebony Erotic Experience is an event that is for people of color and their supporters. Okay. So when I say supporters, that means anybody and everybody, guys. This is not just a quote unquote black event. That's not what this is about. One of the things that I've noticed in the industry, and it's not to knock the industry, it's not to say anything bad against the industry, because I love the industry. I'm in the industry. Yeah. But at some point in time, I noticed a long time ago, we'll say that, a long time ago, that the industry was actually kind of lacking in education for people of color. Yeah. So once again, everybody remember, I'm an educator. That's where we start. And when you're educating and you notice that there are a group of people that are kind of being left out, or they have question marks all over their face when they look at porn, or when they look at BDSM, or when they are trying to work on their relationships, their sexual relationships, you see the confusion on their face, because what they're not seeing is representation. Yeah. You're also seeing on their faces, well, why can't I do that? Yeah. Why can't I do BDSM? Why can't I try this? Why can't I have a poly lifestyle? Why can't I be a swinger? How come I don't see anyone that looks like me? So my platform, I always try to create things that are they're all inclusive, they're all for everyone, but I target people of color because that's what I am. How do I help them enjoy the same erotic, wonderful lifestyle that other people have? Yeah. So we came up with the Ebony Erotic Experience. We did this first event. The first event we actually held was in 2017, and it was in Chicago, Illinois. We had about, over a 2-day period, a little over 500 people come through. Wow. What was really cool about this is all of our featured guests are people of color. This is so that we can talk about, in the BDSM world, we can talk about bruising. You see, there's a difference between melanated skin and skin that is not melanated. Yeah. And bruising doesn't show up. And sometimes you can get carried away and actually be doing a little more damage than good. But that's not talked about. Yeah. It's not shared. It's not known. We wanted to introduce different types of lifestyles. We want to talk about poly. We want to talk about swingers. We want to talk about vanilla. We want to talk about monogamous. We want to talk about, you name it, we're going to talk about it. We want to talk about gay. We want to talk about lesbian. We want to talk about anything that you want to talk about. We want to give you a safe space to come in and be able to talk about those relationships and not be looked at like, what's wrong with you? That is awesome. It's important because we all have a common denominator. We all like sex.
That's awesome.
That's
fantastic.
You love. Some of us love sex. Okay.
I'll tell you that that's part of the reason why this program exists. We have got the fantastic, amazing. She is like a gerbil in a batting cage today. The amazing Ms. Juicy, and she joins us this week here on Skyhawk After Dark Radio.com. That's right, the world's longest porn-related radio show website, skyhawkafterdarkradio.com. Fridays, 12 p.m. Pacific, Saturdays, 8 p.m. Pacific, but if you're reading the bio page, it's Saturdays at 8 a.m. Pacific. So as I always tell everybody, at 8 in the Pacific time zone, AM or PM, go there. We're probably on. Also, iHeartRadio and our good friends over there at TalkShoe. And if you're wanting to watch our videos, you can see them on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble, and CloutHub. And also xbiz.tv as well, and Pornhub, because YouTube sometimes doesn't like the porn content. So we have our own Pornhub channel just for the interviews. If you're looking for, well, I can say that because the Wicked Witch of the Southeast is not paying attention to this show. If you are looking for the Tough Wank Studios stuff, that is a completely different deal. And it's not my dealing, it's because we have someone who's paranoid. But, I'll tell you the stories I could tell you about the lovely and talented Britannia and her paranoidness. I'm afraid my mom's going to find the porn we're making. No, she's not. Unless she's actively searching for it. Yeah. Does she have a Pornhub account? If she does, we got a little bit more to address than her looking at your butthole. So, we've got Miss Juicy with us today. She is amazing. She is such a good sport. She joins us today here on our big program. So, when you were talking about BDSM and all these things, the only people I could think of was Casey Carter and Lorenzo when you were talking about BDSM. I love those two motherfuckers. Were they at this event you did in Chicago?
No, actually, I have just within I want to say within the year, just had the fortunate wonderfulness to meet Lorenzo, and I'm looking forward to meeting Casey. So it is. We're hoping that they can join us now because they were not able, if we would have had it at our previous date. So we're hoping that they can join us the 26th and 27th of April, 2024. And we are going to have limited space. We have a dungeon. So we will have a dungeon. So for those of you that are wanting to,
you want to get strapped to that wheel and have them spin you around.
You want to
or
learn
any of that other stuff.
You want to learn. You want some technique. You want to be taught some things. You want to try some things. You're going to be in first of all, no judgment zone as well as a safe zone. We have our own mistress. Purple Rain will be in the house.
Purple Rain, baby. I need to talk. You need to hook me up with Purple Rain. I gotta have her on this goddamn show at some point.
Yes.
Purple Rain, baby.
Purple Rain. Yes. And I gotta give a shout out if I can. Today is her birthday, so
that's awesome. Purple Rain.
I'm exhausted.
Purple Rain, not to be confused with the character that Dustin Rhodes played in TNA wrestling several years ago, Black Rain. No, Purple Rain. Purple Rain is the mistress.
Yes.
So I think what you've got is pretty damn amazing with all your various things that you are doing. Do you have a website or anything we can send people to?
I do. the website, however, I admit the website is lacking. We are working on making it a little bit better, more updated. We have a lot of updating to do to it, but it is Juicy Tales. Okay, JEWCEETALES.com. Just that simple.
That's awesome.
Juicy Tales.
Juicy Tales, baby.
Yes.
That is awesome. That is fantastic. So with all the various things that you are doing and putting together and you know, making everything work, what has been some of the more interesting things you've run into?
Oh, I think the most interesting thing that I've run into with doing erotic events is the very first, and I don't know if I want to call it interesting or if I want to call it touching, I guess you could say in a way. At our first EEE, and we're going to do this again, so I want everyone to know that at this EE, we're going to do this again. We had a moment and where we didn't know all of this was going to happen. We decided to have a panel discussion. And let me tell you who sat on that panel. King Noir and Jet Setting Jasmine.
I love those two.
Oh, they are fabulous. They are so fabulous. And we're hoping that their schedule allows them to, we had to redo some things, so we're hoping their schedule allows them to be with us in April. They sat on the panel. So did myself. And a couple of our other featured entertainers at the time were part of this panel. We closed the doors at the facility that we were at the time, and we let the conversation just take shape. When I tell you, to this day, I get little goosebumps all over me when I reflect back on that particular conversation. We had people in tears. We had people being able to tell their truth. We had people, it was just simply unbelievable. If I would have known that was going to have that kind of impact on people, you couldn't have told me that. You couldn't have told me that. Just a simple little conversation like this, it changed a lot of people's lives and perception of, like we said earlier, about what the lifestyle is about. And we will have that panel discussion again, because it is an important conversation to have with everyone involved. And we have Lady V and D Black face sitting.
I like those two too. They are just, she is the kind of chick that it's one of those situations where I just check, please. I'll just leave some money on the table. She is fantastic.
I will let her know. Her and I have a great friendship. And they're going to be in the house this time because they weren't able to join us the first time through. So they're going to be here.
They're both amazing people. I love the shit out of both of them. Every time I see them at Exotica, I've always got to talk to them. That they are amazing people.
And it's so cool because everyone that we have, even if if you've met King and Jet, and if you've met Lady V and D Black, they're down to earth people, and they're also educators. So it is so cool, and more importantly, they are like myself. We live the lifestyle 24/7. So You're gonna get the good, the bad, and the ugly about the lifestyle from all of us. And that way you can make an informed decision, as we were speaking earlier, about what you want to do within this lifestyle. To me, there's nothing wrong, there's nothing right, but there are some rules and regulations and some things that need to be out there to keep everybody safe.
Yes.
To keep everybody safe. Yeah. But other than that, honey, go live your best erotic fucking self.
Honey,
if you want a train ran, honey, get that train ran, but make sure you do it safely. You know what I'm saying?
You bring that up. I am in the process, which, let's see. Yeah, I can detail this. I won't have to worry about the Wicked Witch of the Southeast hearing about any of these things. And no, I am not referring to Brittany as the Wicked Witch of the Southeast. I'm referring to her mother as the Wicked Witch of the Southeast. But I'll tell you that whole family, I could do a 25 episode miniseries on Brittany's family, and it would be so damn entertaining. People would think I was making shit up. But one of the things I will say is that we are in the process of getting ready to do there is a lovely young woman in Wichita, Kansas, of all places, who is wanting to have a birthday gangbang in December. And she is all about wanting all these guys at this gangbang to be condomless. And I told her, as well as I told the rest of them, I said, here's what we're doing. 7 days before this thing, everybody's got to go get tested. Mm-hmm. It's just the way it is. So you got to play safe, baby.
Yeah, safe. I mean, like I said, as long as you're safe, as long as I'm not passing judgment. Look, if it's your zhush, I have a girl. That's my little tribute to my girl, Miss Siren. If this is your zhush, then this is your zhush. This is what you do.
Your zhush. I love that.
This is your zhush. I mean, and everything isn't for everybody. And we're not going to just condemn you because it may not be something that I want to do, but it definitely may be something that I want to watch. Okay. I'm a voyeur. I can admit it.
I love it. You are amazing.
Let me get some popcorn and sit down and watch this. Okay. So it's just up to you what you want to do on the air. And I think a lot of people we get very judgmental because it doesn't make us feel comfortable.
Yes.
It don't have a damn thing to do with you. If this is what they
it don't have a damn thing to do with you. I love that.
If this is what you enjoy doing, then we just want you to be in an environment that's open and that's safe for you to do the things that you're excited about and the things that you would like to try. And that's what the EEE is really all about. It's about giving you an opportunity to try some new things, to talk to some people that do what you're interested in, to give you good perspective on it, and not pass any judgment on you. If this is something that you want to do, then do it. Learn about pole dance. We have a beautiful, oh my gosh, we have a beautiful black goddess that's coming. She is one of the top pole fitness instructors in the country, and she is going to be a part of this, and her name is Roxy on the Pole.
Another woman that I have to get that we have to have on this show. I'm just gonna have to have you send me a list of everybody that's gonna be at this goddamn thing, and I gotta just have them on the show because you're firing out some names here. The fact that you said we have this beautiful black, I'm like, I'll just leave some money on the table. I'm ready. We're just good to go.
Oh my God.
So
beautiful.
So she is a pole dancing perv magnet, basically.
Right. And the other thing about it is, she's also an adult entertainer. She is a striptease artiste.
Nice.
We have her in the house. We're also going to have Ray Gunn. He is one of the top black male burlesque dancers in the world.
Ray Gunn, baby. First name Ray, last name Gunn.
Yep. Gunn.
Love it. I love it.
And we just are looking forward to this event to have, number one, so much fun. First of all, you got.
It sounds like you guys are gonna have a fucking blast at this goddamn thing.
Yeah, literally. Literally. From the food to the theme, which is burlesque.
Yeah.
Burlesque is, I think that just encompasses everything naughty.
Hey, that's fine. That's fine.
Everything. And it's okay. And it's okay to
jump off the good foot and do the bad thing is what I say.
Right. Be a little cheeky with it. There's gonna be a lot of cheeks out. You know what I'm saying? There's gonna be a lot of ass showing.
I love it.
And
ass everywhere. What was he doing on the ground at the on his hands and knees over by the bleachers? Was he looking for some ass, as Wanda Sykes would say? But he was down there digging around looking for some ass. Yeah. So we have got a fantastic guest with us today. She joins us live here on the old Skype. Yes, the Skype-a-rooney. Ms. Juicy is with us. And she joins us today here on SkyhawkAfterDarkRadio.com. And you can join us each and every week, Fridays, 12 p.m. Pacific, Saturdays, depending on what website you read, 8 p.m. Pacific or 8 a.m. Pacific. And you can also see videos uploaded to Rumble, to BitChute, Clout Hub, and of course YouTube. And then every once in a while, I try to make the videos available on the Facebook. But who knows? We used to have he's still alive. I always make it sound like these people are dead. We used to have Johnny is still very much alive. He is very much alive and still owns all the Subways in Salina, Kansas. But we used to have this guy named Johnny Kim, who was, as he told me at one point, a very proud Asian male. And he had this bar in Salina, Kansas, and I would do radio interviews and TV interviews and things with the performers that he would bring into his venue. And he would always call me up late at night because he had a habit of doing all sorts of things that he shouldn't do. Like he hosted he had one of those like Mexican bands, like the 35 guys in cowboy hats,
Okay.
Mariachi band, or something like that. He would have these nights where he would have have Mexican music, and he would have, of course, all these Mexicans would show up because obviously Mexican music, Mexican people are going to come to it, and at the end of the night they would hang around. And he's like, I want them to go. I've already got their money. We've already closed the bar. And so one time this motherfucker decided he was going to call immigration. And he had immigration show up, and all these fucking Mexicans had to scoot. And then they all got online and started talking shit about Johnny on Facebook. And so Johnny would call me up. Now, Johnny, of course, he couldn't pronounce the J, so he always called me Ziggy. Oh, Ziggy. So they always called me Ziggy. And he called me up one time and he goes, these people are on the Facebook are talking shit. And I said, Johnny, it's 12:30 at night. You know how you fix that? And he's like, what? And I said, okay. Are you on your laptop? And he goes, yes. And I said, grab the lid and pull it shut. And he's like, it went away. I said, yes, go to bed. So, and he was always telling me, people would always get on, to Facebook. So anytime that we say Facebook on this show or any of my other shows, I always have to do it in Johnny's voice. But we have Ms. Juicy with us today. She is fantastic. She is... she's pretty much like a grilled cheese in a Cadillac, stylish but yet classy. She is amazing, and she joins us today here on our big broadcast. And if you want to find her on the old Twitter machine, it is MZJEWCEEONE, which is pretty much the best Twitter username I've ever seen. It is great. And so you do, I noticed that you share a lot of posts for the Play Palace podcast. How in the world are you involved in this?
So this is Miss Purple Rain's podcast.
Awesome. Awesome.
And we do, the three of us, myself, Miss Purple Rain, and Miss Siren, we have a podcast on Monday nights that we've been doing. It's called Juicy Tales Erotic Chat. And I started out on Blog Talk, if that still exists.
Yes, Blog Talk still does exist. I have a business show on there every once in a while, Build, Grow, and Enjoy, which I am amazed that Blog Talk Radio is still around. I'm amazed that phone casting still exists in this world of technology. In fact, I have a Blog Talk story. I'm sure that when you have people call into Blog Talk, or when you have people hang up from being on Blog Talk, they always or if you run out of time, if you're broadcasting and you run out of time, it will always cut you off and say thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Okay, so one time I was on a show with a guy who did a terroristic threat. He told me he was so tired of my crap that he was going to come to Wichita, Kansas and kill me. And what was so funny was when you listen to the radio part of it, the host that was on there at the time was like, oh, don't say those kind of things. And that was what people heard on the show. But what I heard on my end when I called in was the minute that he said, Jiggy, I'm going to come to Wichita, Kansas this weekend, and I'm going to fucking kill you. Well, when he said fucking kill me, Blog Talk's time limit had run out. So immediately following him doing the terroristic threat, this automated voice came on and said, thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. So that is my Blog Talk that's my Blog Talk story. So you do this on Blog Talk. You also do this Monday nights.
We did it on Blog Talk for, oh my gosh, I was on Blog Talk for 7 years.
That's awesome.
I had to take.
That's awesome.
But the thing that irritated me, more along the lines of thing that pissed me off about Blog Talk is when I decided to do the, what do you want to call it, the transition from being Blog Talk to doing a podcast now, where you can actually see us and that kind of thing. I had to take my whole account down 7 years. I couldn't put it in hiatus anymore. You used to be able to just put it in you can't do that. I couldn't do that anymore. I had to take down 7 years of talk shows. I was very crushed, but you know what? You have to move forward in this life, and you have to move forward with where things are going. So we do a live broadcast on Monday nights on our different platforms. I have a YouTube channel, which I need to build that up, I admit. And we're on Facebook, and I'm on Twitter and all that good stuff. So, or whatever the hell it's called now, X.
I always refer to it as Twitter. I don't, I kind of look at Twitter as Trump likes to call him, Elon. Elon basically bought Twitter. He bought this toy, and then he threw it on the ground and broke it. I still don't understand.
That's about right.
What he did with this thing. He goes in and he fires all the millennials that work there.
That's the thing. He don't understand what he did either. So
he goes in that first day and he fires all the millennials that work here, and then he realized, all those people keep the website going, so I had to bring them all back. I don't know. It's the craziest deal. And he talks about how he's bringing all these different things back. And I'm like, okay, here is my plea to Elon. If he's going to bring things back, he needs to bring back the fucking video platform that he had there for a while. Periscope. I love the shit out of Periscope.
Okay. Yeah.
I loved Periscope. We did a Periscope from a BDSM party that I got invited to in Vegas during the ABN a few years ago. Well, it was more than a few years ago because the joke is several years old. But, and I had got a pan of the room, and there was like chicks just, getting spanked and people with ball gags and, all the usual stuff. And one of the comments on the Periscope was, "Is this Trump's inauguration party?"
Oh.
So I love the fuck out of Periscope. So Elon, if you're gonna bring things back, bring back Periscope. But okay, so you're on all the different platforms.
Right. And we talk about, we have guests on there, and we talk about, once again, we talk about relationships, we talk about sex, we talk about, and we have to, because of where we are, we don't necessarily sugarcoat anything, but we definitely can get into some really good conversations. And then we have people that can comment, because we use Restream, and
that's awesome.
So it's something that originally I was very nervous about doing. I really had got very comfortable with Blog Talk and being behind the scenes. So now I'm more in front of it and with my girls, and of course I couldn't do it without them as well. So we have a great time. We really do. We come up with different topics, and you name it, we talk about it. And just to say that it's great to be able to communicate with people and get them the right information, and allow them to express the wrong information, but help correct them and help guide them, to what we feel is a little more understanding. And so much taboo is out there about erotica, about sex, about it's so crazy when you stop and you think about it. This is the year 2023, and you all are still acting like sex doesn't exist, and I'm trying to figure that out. But
well, you know what I think is crazy is that there are so many. This is where it's gonna get dicey for some folks. But here's the thing. I always think it's hilarious that the politicians and everybody and all these guys don't believe, they want to just kind of ignore the fact that there's swingers and all these people out here. But yet they release those travel logs, and all these guys are going to the Epstein Island. You know what this is. But it's so strange to me. They got photos. I seen a photo today of Chuck Schumer kissing like a 12-year-old. And I'm like, that to you's normal? But having sex at a fucking swingers club where we got MILFs and GILFs and all this stuff? Oh, it's crazy. Can't do that. Better ban that shit. What?
And I agree with you, because the craziest thing about it is, it's kind of like, what is it? The person that screams the loudest is usually the person that's guilty.
That too. Well, and this. Here we go. So another thing that I've always wondered about. One of my, and I don't even really know if you'd want to call him a hero, because I make fun of him 90% of the time, but Nature Boy Ric Flair, limousine riding, jet flying, kiss stealing, wheeling dealing, son of a gun, the guy who's had a last match, and he's probably getting ready to have another last match, and all the stuff. He has retired more times than people have had Elvis sightings. But Ric Flair, any of these documentaries you see on Ric Flair, he talks about how he's got 7 wives and he doesn't have any money and he's done this and he's done that. And after being in the swinging community as little as me and Britannia have been in, which, as I always like to say, we've just basically had a cup of coffee in this business. But the thing is, why did Ric Flair just become a fucking swinger? then you could have avoided those 7 marriages, brother. And I think about all these people that have all these problems. Why don't they just all be swingers?
or have an
Strange to
open
me.
relationship.
Well, that too. Like we hosted a swinger party a couple weeks ago, and we had this guy that was at this swinger party, and I tell you, I've seen a lot of crazy things. This is probably one of the craziest. He tells me, he's like, I'm bringing these 2 females, and one is older and one is younger. And I said, okay. And he goes, and the 2 females will not play with each other. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't care. Well, come to find out, the reason they didn't want to play with each other or play in the same room or whatever is because it was mom and dad and daughter. And I'm like, what? What in the world? What are you doing here? So, but he just thought it was a normal thing. Not a big deal. Oh, hey, mom's going to get naked over on the bed, and the daughter's going to get 3 black guys over here banging her head. Doesn't matter. Whatever. That's cool. But the thing that got me is that, which is kind of crazy about this whole thing, is that, at the end of the day, they didn't think that was all that big of a deal. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't judge. It's like you were saying, judgment-free zone, all the stuff.
Right. I think a lot of people, there's a lot of people out here that, they have been indoctrinated.
Yes.
Yes,
they have been indoctrinated.
They have been indoctrinated into believing whatever it is that they believe. Okay, and then whether it's from a religious background, whether it's from family and friends saying no, or they take it as the gospel. But a lot of people don't think for themselves when it comes to sex anymore. They just don't. They go by what everybody else said. What's popular? I'm not doing anal sex, and I'm like, okay, well, why not? Well, I heard. You heard what? What did you hear?
Well, I heard.
Well, somebody told me.
Somebody told me.
Okay, but did they try it?
Who is they?
Well, no, they didn't try it. They
told me.
They told me, and they heard. Okay, well, who did they hear that from? Well, this person and this person, did they try it? No, we're so busy going by what somebody else tells you or somebody else says that you have not taken the time to learn how to do anything yourself. To find out if it's fun, to find out if it's worth it, to find out if you're going to enjoy it. What are you afraid of? What you might enjoy?
What are you afraid of? You might enjoy it?
Yeah, damn. Okay. So
see like with like we were talking about the BDSM stuff earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things, like Brittany's favorite thing to do at these porn conventions, and I don't know why this is. She just gets her jollies off of it, I guess. She takes me over to the dungeons. She always takes me over to the dungeons. She always has to find a dominatrix, and she always has to have them beat the crap out of me. They have to spank me or do whatever. And the thing that I've always wondered with any of that is, in the very beginning, I would say a couple years ago. Now things have kind of changed. I don't know. I'm getting ready to make some admissions on this program, but who the hell was that last year? Oh, who the hell was that? We went to Exotica in Chicago last year, and we ran into Pagan the Stallion. Have you ever do you know of Pagan the Stallion?
I've heard of the name.
Yes.
I've heard of the name.
She is like maybe the size of like. Honestly, I'm making this up. This is a total work, but she's no taller than like a little hula Hawaiian girl that you see on a dashboard. She's tiny, and
And she's Italian.
And
Okay.
she has these like giant pieces of wood that she smacks people with. And so we did the thing where she was supposed to paddle me or whatever. And she hit me so hard she lifted me off the ground. And everybody thought it was funny. It wasn't that big of a deal. I was like, ah, ha, 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 and all the stuff. And I still don't really understand the concept of the whole spanking thing. I don't get that at all. However,
I can help you with that.
Recently, I have started, when we go to these lifestyle clubs, this ice lounge that is in the middle of Hayesville, Kansas, of all fucking places. We've started seeing, there's this chick. She's of course a black chick, which of course, as we all know, black chicks are my kind of perv magnets. She comes in and she's got the she's got the paddles and all the gimmicks and all the stuff. And I'll watch her, spank chicks or guys or whatever, and I'll sit there and I'm like, okay, now I can kind of understand why maybe people get into this. But explain to me why I don't really understand this whole thing. I cut you off before you got a chance to say something. Go ahead.
Well, first of all, spanking is like a sensory kind of thing.
Yeah.
Some people, it takes it back to their childhood. If you want to go there with it, you can. I get it. Authority. Some people associate spanking with authority. Okay. Punishment. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been a bad boy. I've been a bad girl. But it can be because you're there's a lot of sensory back in your ass. Let's just put it there. Okay. A lot of sensory. And if it when done right, spanking can be quite enjoyable, quite erotic. Because you have nerve endings, that are getting stimulated with the spanking. But some people don't know how to spank right. I'm just saying. Here we go. They don't know how to do it right. They're winding up from like left field, okay, and they're going to take you to the moon basically with one stroke. And we can talk about bruising. We can talk about, some people like to leave a mark. Some people like marks. Some people don't know how to warm the skin up.
Yes.
See a lot of that. I learned a lot of techniques from studying Jasmine and King Noir, just watching them, being around them, understanding, letting them explain. You really shouldn't be just like, we're going to come from left field and hit you as hard as we possibly can on the first swat. That's
which is pretty much what happened when Peg and the Stallion got a hold of me in Chicago a couple of years ago and lifted me off the ground. So yeah.
Right, and you're trying to figure out, well, what was this supposed to be pleasurable, or was this supposed to be? What was this supposed to be?
Yeah, I'm just like, what in the world, Bobby? What in the world?
So once again, EEE is about educating. Okay, we're not gonna come from left field for someone that has not been spanked, as well as there's different kinds of techniques. There's different kinds of ways to get those nerve endings stimulated in a way that is very pleasurable and very sensual. So those are the kinds of things, like I said, you got to learn some things, folks, and it's okay to change your technique. It's okay to learn new technique, and it's okay to find out, oh, hey, maybe I've been doing this wrong, and maybe I can't understand. And I can't understand why I don't have anyone coming to my dungeon. Maybe I don't. Go ahead, learn technique. Learn some things that are going to help you, help them have more fun. I'm just going to put that out there because some of y'all, no. Go sit your ass down in the corner somewhere.
Go sit your ass down in the corner.
Go to the corner, yes, because you're doing more damage than good. You're turning off a lot of people that would definitely be a part of this lifestyle, if only we took the time.
If only, yes.
if only we took the time to do it correctly. And some people, I've noticed, especially when we're talking about BDSM, they don't even talk.
Yeah.
I'm a big proponent for communication, and I'm writing a book called The 3 C's, Clear, Concise Communication. And I talk about the fact that we do not have conversations anymore and talk. And as a dominatrix, I need to talk to my submissive or my slave while I'm in the thralls of doing things to make sure that they are okay and they're safe.
Yes.
And swinging from left field, it's not
literally and figuratively.
Right. It's not communicating with somebody. You're doing what you want to do, and you have forgotten about your slave or your submissive.
Yeah.
And that's happening because I think Lorenzo calls them Amazon Doms. And
yes, he does. That is a phrase that he used in an interview a couple weeks ago on this program. He calls them Amazon Doms. I'll tell you, let me say this about Lorenzo. I could literally listen to this motherfucker read the phone book. It would be entertaining.
You and
I don't know what is going on with that voice of his.
Honey, you look. Not only that, but if he's reading me the phone book, I'm squirting. I'm gonna tell you.
Yes. First down. Actually, just forget about the first down. Just keep going.
Right.
That is amazing. Lorenzo reading a phone book and then you turning it into a sexual thing. It's amazing.
Something about that voice. Oh.
Hey, I'll tell you. There are times I listen to another show you need to go on at some point is Jizz Talking with Patrick Palmer. Patrick Palmer, every once in a while, Lorenzo will call into his show. And I sometimes I don't even care about the guest. I just tune in because I want to hear Lorenzo ask some questions. I don't know what that is. You know, I often if I'm testing speakers in the studio that I've rewired and I'm like, well, I want to know how they sound like, I'll just turn on an old interview that I've got with Lorenzo and I'll just fast forward to 15 minutes in where he's like doing an intro to some kind of shit, and I'm like, I just want to hear his voice in these fucking speakers, because if I can hear his voice in these speakers, I know they're adjusted correctly. So.
And we have, and I should add, because I would be remiss if I don't, for the Ebony Erotic Experience, all the way from Barbados, we have the Passion Poet. And let me tell you, with the accent and the baritone voice that he has, we're going to need puppy pads all over that place. That's what we go.
Jesus.
Right. We're going to need some puppy pads.
Here's what we do. Here's what we do as a special function of that event. You put two chairs on a stage right next to each other and get like a little table in the middle with some coffee cups. You put like some fake ferns around the two chairs. And you just stick this Caribbean guy in one chair, Lorenzo in the other. You just hand him a copy of War and Peace. And you say, you guys just take turns. Take turns read this motherfucker. We'll just have them, read passages from the fucking Bible or some shit. I don't give a fuck. Fine. Here's what you do: you get somebody on the phone that says, "Find me a goddamn book that's long as shit." Give it to both of them and let them read it.
We have a perfect room for that. Let me write that down.
I just think that would be. I would show up, volunteer. I would mic the whole thing. I'd film that goddamn deal. That would be amazing. Just start handing them restaurant menus, the Waffle House menu. I don't give a shit. and just let these two just read the fucking menus. That's just what you do. Waffle House menus, IHOP menus. I don't give a shit. We'll just let them read menus. I don't care.
It would be, like I said, and people tend to forget, just regular folks. We tend to forget to utilize all of our senses.
Yes.
When it comes to sex and eroticism, and that's one of the things that we definitely will be teaching as well at EEE, because you got to remember, if I take away your sight, your ears perk up. You can hear better all of a sudden. You if you take away something, you take away your sight, you take away your hearing, you take away your sense of smell. You take away some of these senses, you can heighten the experience. And blindfolds and earphones and things along those lines will be at EEE to take away your senses so that you can have a heightened moment. And once again, no judgment, and
no.
You can make as loud of an orgasm as you want, because you won't hear it if we got your earphones on you. So
noise canceling headphones.
Yep, we have them.
It's amazing. That is fantastic.
So we're gonna, there's a lot of things that I think we forget sometimes in the hustle and bustle of the world. Trying to work, trying to raise a family, trying to, be all things to everybody else except for ourselves sometimes. But I think it's really important that we have events like this. Exotica. I've been to Exotica in Chicago.
That's probably my favorite Exotica is the one in Chicago.
I went the first few years it was there when I was living. I lived in Chicago for a while. Yeah. Plan on returning next year to Exotica.
We will be at the Chicago Exotica in April. We definitely will have to keep in touch and yeah, that'll yeah.
It's and like I said, over the years it's changed. And mind you, I'm on the erotic educational side of the house. I'm not on the porn side of the house, although I have my porn sisters and brothers, and I don't knock any of it. I love it. But I chose for my platform to be more of an educator, and that includes talking about the lack of diversity in porn as well, and in the lack of diversity as far as filmmakers and who's making the porn. So we definitely understand all of that. And once again, we don't knock anybody. Sorry for the lighting, but
no, you're good. You're good.
We're just trying to do a lot of things to educate people, and I think that's really key. And the gentleman that you had on earlier, and I apologize.
Oh, Giovanni Valentino. If that truly is his real name, as they say. Go ahead.
Right. One of the things, I know we were talking about numbers, and this is one of the things I brought up to some folks, because he said he talked about the number 5 with what he was stating, and I talked about the number 7. Yes. And I think what people forget is you can skew. And I learned this in college. You can skew anything to make it fit whatever you want it to fit. You can skew those numbers anyway, because people talk about polls. I don't even listen to polls anymore. Stop listening to polls. We polled 100. We polled 100 people. Do you ever hear these things that they sit here and they tell you the number? Okay, 100 people. Well, they didn't poll me. You didn't ask my opinion.
I always my favorite used to be whenever they would talk about people in the town or people in the area that they're like, oh, she just banged everybody. She didn't bang me.
Right.
So, oh, that bitch just takes everybody out to the red coach and fucks them in the hot tub. I haven't seen the red coach's hot tub, so she hasn't fucked me.
But you did say everybody.
That's right. That's right.
I'm in that category. How come
That's
not?
right. That's right.
And it's always so funny because people 10 people surveyed. So now we're gonna call this the gospel because we had 10 people surveyed. No, stop it.
Yes.
Stop. They're hoping you don't pay attention. They really are hoping you don't pay attention. And hook, line, and sinker, we don't. So there you have it.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. Well, you are amazing. I just think it's fantastic. Before we let you go, how do we get in touch with you on social media, the websites, everything?
Okay. On Facebook, I'm Dara, Dara, Ms. Juicy, MZJEWCEE Smith. On Twitter, I am Miss Juicy1, MZJEWCEEONE. On YouTube, I'm Ms. Juicy, MZJEWCEE. And on Instagram, I'm Ms. Juicy at MZJEWCEE. My website is Juicy Tales, JEW.
Juicy Tales, baby.
TALES, honey. I got a backside, okay?
I love it. I love it.
I got a tail. But it's also about tall tales as well. So, yeah, I write erotically. So, Ms. Juicy Tales. There you go.
That is amazing. Well, you are fantastic. You just are.
Thank you.
Thank
you so much.
Just amazing stuff. And keep me updated on everything that you are doing because
Definitely.
I'll tell you, I would love to have you back and do some more chit-chatting because you are fantastic.
Oh my! She's making me blush.
But keep up the good work with everything, and I will talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day, my friend.
Thank you, baby. Thank
Appreciate
you so much.
it. Have yourself a wonderful day. There she goes. That is Ms. Juicy. Yes, Ms. Juicy, which is amazing. That wraps it up here for this edition.